Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we peek behind the curtain of corporate announcements, and today our peek reveals a company that is, well, let's just say they're trying to get the word out about their recent performance. Today we're diving into a filing from Sintx Technologies, Incorporated, and it's all about their latest financial update. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, if you like getting these easy to understand breakdowns of complex business documents without the corporate jargon, make sure you're subscribed. And hey, if you enjoyed chatting about these filings and getting more insights, join our Discord community linked in the description below. So what we have here is a current report, essentially the company telling the world what is happening right now. Think of it as a quick update, not a full life story, like some other reports. The main reason for this filing is to announce their financial results for the quarter ending the 30th of September 2025. The company that's filing this is Sintx Technologies, Incorporated. They're incorporated in Delaware, and you might recognize their stock ticker symbol, SINT, which is traded on the NASDAQ Capital Market. Now, usually when a company files a report like this, it's to share important news. The key piece of news here is in item 2.02, focusing on their financial condition and how operations are going. On the 13th of November 2025, Sintx Technologies Incorporated, which we'll just call the company from now on, put out a press release. This press release talks about their financial results for the third quarter of 2025. The report is essentially saying, hey, we released this press release about our financials, and here it is attached as Exhibit 99.1. What's interesting is how they say it's being furnished and shall not be deemed to be filed. This is a bit of a legal nuance, basically meaning they're sharing it. But they're trying to limit their legal responsibility for any potential issues with that information under certain sections of securities law, specifically Section 18 of the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. It also clarifies that this information won't be automatically included in other filings unless they specifically say so. Then Therese item 7.01, which is about Regulation FD, or fair disclosure. This rule is all about making sure companies don't give important information to just a few people. They're saying that the information in item 2.02, which is the press release about their financials, is also being covered under this Regulation FD disclosure. So it's all connected, reinforcing that the press release is the main event here. Now, the actual financial details are in that press release, Exhibit 99.1. Unfortunately, this particular filing doesn't contain the actual tables of numbers directly within it. Instead, it directs us to that press release. This is pretty common. Companies want to get their good news out quickly via a press release, and then they file that press release with the CAC as part of their official record. So, while we don't have the crunchy numbers right here in front of us in this document, the filing tells us exactly where to find them. However, the company does mention that the press release includes information regarding the company's use of a non-GAAP financial measure. This is something to keep an eye on. Non-GAAP measures are financial metrics that a company uses that differ from the standard GAAP generally accepted accounting principles. Companies use them to show performance in a way they believe is more representative of their core business, but it sometimes means they are presenting numbers in a more favorable light. It's like if you were trying to sell your house. You might focus on the recent upgrades and downplay the leaky roof. So when we see non-GAAP measures, it is always worth digging into what those standard GAAP results look like, and why the company feels the need to present an alternative view. The last exhibit listed is the cover page interactive data file, which is embedded within the inline XBRL document. XBRL is a way of tagging financial information electronically so that it can be more easily analyzed by computers and investors. It's all about making data more accessible and comparable. Finally, we get to the sign-off portion of the report. This is where the company's authorized representative signs off, confirming that the information provided is accurate to the best of their knowledge. In this case, it's signed by Eric Olson, who is the President and Chief Executive Officer of Sintx Technologies, Incorporated, dated the 13th of November 2025. Now, let's talk about what this all means when a company files a report like this, especially if it is just announcing a press release with financial results. It often means they're either having good news they want to highlight, or perhaps news that isn't stellar, but they want to frame in a particular way. Since this filing focuses on the press release, and doesn't immediately present detailed financial tables within the 8K itself, we have to assume the most critical information is within that press release. What's concerning is not seeing direct financial tables here. Usually, a Form 8K reporting results would include key figures like revenue, net income, and earnings, per S-Head directly. The fact that they've only furnished the press release suggests they might be wanting to control the narrative very tightly, perhaps because the numbers aren't overwhelmingly positive, or they're focusing on specific metrics that paint a better picture. Using non-GAAP measures often signals this desire to present a certain view. We need to look at the full press release to understand the story. Is their revenue growing? Are they losing money? What are their future projections? Are they facing challenges that they are trying to spin positively? For Sintx Technologies Incorporated, understanding their specific product lines and market challenges would be crucial to interpreting these results. For instance, if they are in a highly competitive or rapidly evolving market, even a small hiccup in financial performance could be magnified. From a Warren Buffett perspective, we'd want to see consistent revenue growth, strong profitability, and manageable debt. We'd also want to understand the company's competitive advantage, its management quality, and its long-term prospects. Without the actual numbers from the press release here, it is hard to make a definitive judgment. However, the reliance on a separate press release and the mention of non-GAAP measures suggest a strategy of carefully managed communication. My take on this filing in isolation is that while Sintx Technologies Incorporated is fulfilling its reporting obligations, the absence of immediate financial detail within the 8K itself, and the emphasis on a press release with non-GAAP measures, warrants a cautious approach. Investors would need to carefully scrutinize the press release for the real story behind the numbers. The underlying strengths and weaknesses of Sintx would depend entirely on what that press release reveals about their sales, costs, and future outlook. For now, this filing is more of a signpost pointing to where the real information lies rather than the information itself. Alright, that is our breakdown of the Sintx Technologies Incorporated filing. What is your take on this approach to reporting financial results? And what do you think those actual numbers in the press release might reveal? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.